Alright then everyone, we're now ready for our next chapter. This chapter is on the major 7 sharp 5 pentatonic. A little bit like in the last chapter, these licks are meant for over this specific chord. If you haven't come across this chord before, we've got in its E shape, we've got 5th fret of the 6th string, and then we've got 6, 6, 6 on the D, G and the B. I personally just bar that across there because I'm lazy, but that's quite cool. And then you're muting the 5th string and the top E string in a similar way to the minor 7 flat 5 in terms of strings. So these licks are very kind of jazzy, very kind of modern, fusion, fresh and exciting. Let's go and have a look at these 5 licks next. Alright, there was our position 1, the E shape of this major 7 sharp 5 pentatonic. As you can tell, this scale's got quite a sort of edgy sort of sound. It sounds really, really cool. And I'm going to be telling you to solo over the static root backing track for this chapter, because that'll give you a good flavour to work on. Just revolves around an A root note. In this lick itself, the tricky part is bending on the top string, the 9th fret, and then getting back into the 9-5 and then the 9-6 on the B string. Feels a little bit uncomfortable at first, but once again, as I've said throughout this book, take it slowly, build your own ideas. Let's go and have a look at example 2. Alright then, there was our example 2 around the D shape of this scale. This lick really stood out for me because it's quite memorable. Something that's incredibly singable is very, very, very much going to capture someone's imagination. And weirdly, even in quite an unusual sounding scale, we've got a lick here that sounds quite sort of memorable and singable back. So make sure you get the double stop slide on your index, your first finger, and the rest of the lick should fall under the fingers quite nicely with some nice alternate picking. Let's go and have a look at example 3. Okay, so it's very popular in modern day rock metal and different types of metal to have sort of droning, ringing out licks and riffs like that. And this lick gives a really kind of clashing, dissonant flavour to it and sounds really, really cool, all up around here, keeping sort of similar notes the same. Make sure you follow my fingering there in that video to get that one correct, because it is, again, it takes a little bit of practice. This works really, really well over just this static A backing track, because it gives that kind of modern day flavour of kind of metal, even with fairly jazz fusion sounding scale. So it shows you don't limit yourself to what you think you might need in your colour palette of scales. Just try out new flavours, try out new sounds, and you'll be amazed what you can come up with and then inspire yourself and be totally new and creative. Let's get on to example 4. Right, well, we've got a really funk fusion line here, really, really fun, and right up my street as well. I love these kind of lines. So the difficult bit here is we're adding in mutes to our playing, just muting the string. Just make sure you lift off your fingers quite gently when you're doing those muted notes. And on the top strings, when you've got those double stops, I recommend using middle and index, and then middle and ring, or 2 and 1 and 2 and 3, if you like, finger-wise there. That feels the most comfortable way of doing that for me. If it's not comfortable for you, by all means, use different finger strategy. There's no one right way to play these licks. Keep it consistent, nice funky one. Let's go and have a look at example 5. One of the other real joys of learning these pentatonic scales is you can look at each different scale shape that you've got in the book there and start to see different chord shapes that are lying within those. Just by dropping out a few notes, sometimes you can build bar chords. Drop out a few more notes, you can build triads, 3-note chords, double stops. You can actually start to build chord-based sort of ideas just from these shapes, and that is really exciting. It shows the collaboration and the overlap between lead guitar playing and rhythm guitar playing. I always feel that you should be trying to progress your playing across the board. So hopefully by now you've got certain loads of licks down, and now you can start to investigate all the different little chord shapes you can find in each different scale. This one, as you can see here, we've got a nice sort of shape around here. The 6, 3, 5 on the top 3 strings there, really quite tasty. Really fun one to play. Next, we're going to go and have a look at our next chapter. We're going to get into some Asian scales next. It's going to be fun.